Hey guys, Super Godzilla Final Wars here, and today I am back once again with another video. Today we're going to be discussing on what if the godzillasaurus from Godzilla Minus One was in the Jurassic franchise. And note, this is not a versus battle video. I'm not going to be like all those other YouTubers and take Godzilla's regeneration away from him and basically establish which creature can beat him and which ones can't. So this is flat out a what if scenario on what if the Godzillasaurus was in the Jurassic franchise. How would this change the events from mostly, I would say, Jurassic World and possibly the events of Jurassic World Dominion. I'm keeping Jurassic World Rebirth out of the way because, well, it's a movie that's not even out yet. We don't know that much about the movie, so within a way, I think you can kind of say there'll be a few parts. But if you want me to include Jurassic Park, then I will actually try my best to include Jurassic Park in this scenario, but I am mostly looking at the Jurassic World. The reason why I'm looking at Jurassic World is because we have seen throughout in both the movies and shows that there is technology so damn advanced that they can practically somewhat rather awaken the Godzillasaurus or somewhat detect the Godzillasaurus approaching the island. Now, for those of you who are unaware on what is the Godzillasaurus is basically a dinosaur version of Godzilla. It is it's basically a pre-irradiated form of Godzilla. Basically, Godzilla has not become Godzilla yet. The first time we saw the Godzillasaurus was in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah in 1991. That was the first time we ever saw the Godzillasaurus. And the second time, was recently in Godzilla Minus One. AKA, in my opinion, the best Godzilla movie out there. And wondering how big is the Godzillasaurus, he stands at a height of over 15 meters, while I think the Heisei version stood at a height of 12 meters. So within a way, the Minus One Godzillasaurus is bigger. So, what would happen if the Godzillasaurus was in Jurassic World? Well, let's find out. For starters, what would the Godzillasaurus' business be on Jurassic World? Well, you can kind of say the Godzillasaurus is looking for a territory. He's looking for a big enough land and with enough resources to sustain him. The Godzillasaurus is a relatively big and massive animal, and it's going to need a lot of resources. So, most likely, it would rather pick up the scent of dinosaurs on the island and actually go there. However, he will come across with a lot of people there. Now, no one has ever seen a dinosaur this big. And what would the humans try to do? They would most likely try to tranquilize the creature and make an enclosure for it. Most likely wanting it to be a new main attraction to their park. Now the question is, will tranquilizers even work on this thing? The answer is no, and here's the reason why. It has been implied that in the novelization that the godzillasaurus has incredibly thick skin. Not only that, it was even mentioned that even if our main character, who went on the plane, if he shot Godzilla, it wasn't going to do that much damage. It wasn't even going to do anything to him. So the godzillasaurus is, plus there's the fact that he took a nuke, like literally to the face, and not only survived, but he mutated. So most likely, tranquilizing this creature is not going to do. After they realize that this creature is practically not only bulletproof, but it's flat out hard to bring down, most likely they will result in the Indominus Rex to try to take this thing down. Despite the Indominus Rex his best efforts, it falls to the Godzillasaurus. It's because our heroes will come to the realization that this thing has regeneration. Yes, it's also been confirmed that the Godzillasaurus has regeneration powers. First, in the novelization, it flat out confirmed that not only in his, irradiated form, but his pre-irradiated form both have regeneration. So as a result, yeah, this guy is going to be hard to bring down. Most likely the Indominus Rex will fall by the hands of this monster. What about Rexy? Most likely she'll fall too. Basically all the non-apex predators will want to do what they can to keep away from this thing. And of course, there will be the attempt of using the raptors, but let's be real here. What are the raptors going to do to this thing? If anything, they're going to be like a back scratcher to this thing. I would say our heroes will try to resolve on using the Mosasaurus. But the thing is, they got to get it to the Mosasaurus enclosure. So most likely they will try to lure the Godzillasaurus there and hope that it would get killed by the Mosasaurus. However, some of our heroes will doubt that, considering its regeneration. With its regeneration, this is going to become a problem for the Mosasaurus. But everyone is hell-bent on stopping this thing. So they would use the Mosasaurus as, the only thing that could possibly kill this thing. So once they lure the Godzillasaurus to the aquarium, to the Mosasaurus enclosure, all they gotta do is just let the Mosasaurus do its thing. Once when the Mosasaurus has a firm hold on the Godzillasaurus will actually struggle because the Mosasaurus is actually bigger than him. But like I said, his regeneration will become in handy. So if anything, I think the Godzillasaurus will actually last a good while fighting the Mosasaurus. And I think after seeing how fast the Godzillasaurus can regenerate, I think the Mosasaurus will just entirely back down. Just be like, you know what? You're not worth it. You keep on growing back your limbs, it's not worth it. You're not worth it, so you can leave. And that's exactly what the Godzillasaurus does. He leaves. After seeing that the Mosasaurus failed to bring down the Godzillasaurus, basically Isla Nublar, Jurassic World, it falls. But this time, it's not by the hands of the Indominus Rex, but by the hands of the Godzillasaurus. Now, what about Cave Cretaceous? Will Darius, Brooklyn, Kenji, Yas, Sammy, and Ben still be on the island? I would say most likely yes. How would they try to live their lives with the Godzillasaurus just roaming around on the island? Most likely, it's going to take some time to get used to. Now, I didn't say the Godzillasaurus didn't kill Rexy. He left her alone after she realized that there's no way that she can beat this thing. This thing is not only bigger than her, but it's stronger than her, it's more durable, plus it has regeneration. So if anything, Rexy is no longer the queen of Isla Nublar, the Godzillasaurus is the king of Isla Nublar. The campers will most likely find it difficult to live on Isla Nublar with the Godzillasaurus roaming around. I would say that the Godzillasaurus' only big main food source are sauropods. But that doesn't mean he won't target smaller herbivores. I would say he can eat smaller herbivores, but he just prefers bigger herbivores to eat. Now, there's the part of the Scorpius Rex. Will the Scorpius Rex do some damage, or actually bring down the Godzillasaurus? I would say no. While it is true that the Scorpius Rex does have venomous quills, we have to remember that the Godzillasaurus has incredibly thick hide. So if anything, the Scorpius Rex might have to target rather the mouth or the eyes in order to truly do some damage to the Godzillasaurus. But besides of that, there's no way that Scorpius Rex is lasting like a second against the Godzillasaurus. Like I said, unless he can target like the mouth or the eyes, then I say he might have a fair shot. But then again, we have to look at the generation. The Godzillasaurus can easily just kind of rip out his eyes or rip out his jaw and just regenerate a new one. Now, at first, theorists will probably consider this to be some kind of a new species of dinosaur, which he's kind of not entirely wrong. But at the same time, he's not really correct either. Because while it is true that the Godzillasaurus is somewhat of a dinosaur, he's also a kaiju. Because no dinosaur has regeneration like that. So the Godzillasaurus will basically be the first dinosaur that truly has regeneration. So, yeah.